Hey everyone, there wasn't a Reworks video last week in Global Labs. Instead, PA wanted to summarize all of the current reworks into one huge patch. They wanted to polish up the tooltips and fix all the current bugs of all the class reworks. I will provide the link to the translated summary of all the classes in the description below. In this week's reworks, there were a few buffs to PvE for Ninja, so let's dive into them. With the addition of some grinding buffs to Succession, Ninja got a new face. We kind of look like a contestant from Squid Games, to be honest. Also, it's an amazing TV show. If you haven't seen it already, go watch it. Alright, so let's start with the Succession changes. Please keep in mind, all of the damage changes are all buffs to PvE. However, the PvP damage was increased slightly to balance it out. Overall, it's still a slight increase in PvP damage, so don't panic. I'm going to go over only the new changes in this week's patch. Prime Foxclaw now has an increased damage on the first and second hits, and now has a 50% crit rate to PvE, which doesn't apply on cooldown. Prime Red Rain got a damage buff to the first two hits with a small increase to PvP damage reduction. Prime Dark Frenzy has an increased damage and a crit rate buff from 40% to 50%. PvP damage reduction has increased to 44%. It also has a down attack modifier, which was added in the 4th week of patch notes. Along with the removal of the air smash on Shriek and Flights, it now has a 50% crit rate for PvE. Because Prime Malice and Evasive Shriek and Malice's hit count has been increased from 3 to 5, the PvP damage reduction was further increased to 68.9%. Prime Beheading's first hit has an increased damage and a hit count increase from 2 to 5. The second hit has a damage increase as well, though the PvP damage reduction has been increased to 71.3%. Alright, that's all for the latest Succession changes this week. Moving on to Awakening. Vengeful Barrier has been removed and has been combined into Corrupt Sword Dance. It has a new animation with a frontal guard on the ending animation of the skill. It also has a new R&B input that makes you swing backwards. There's a new sound effects that sounds gorgeous too, and there's a few new animation cancels into other skills as well. Lock Explosion has a reduced cooldown to 12 seconds, has a damage increase, and a slight PvP damage reduction increase. Serpent Ascension's damage has been increased, however the PvP damage reduction was also increased. Flash Bondage, Ninja's Awakening grab cooldown has been nerfed to 20 seconds. It still has the iframe upon successful grab, but no super armor. Sewer Chaos Spray now has a 15-second cooldown. It also has a down attack modifier. And that's it for the Awakening changes. It seems like this week's changes was basically a summary of all the weeks put together. PA has also mentioned they will still continue to do balance changes even after the patch notes hits live server on December 15 for Korea and December 22nd for global. Like I mentioned earlier, all of the damage buffs were to PvE, while the small increase to PvP damage reduction was to balance the damage output. We still got a small net increase in damage, however. They also added the resist system changes in this week's patch. You can read more about it in my week 4 reworks video that I will post below. One of the bigger news from this week's patches is the announcement of the new MMR ranked arena system called Arena of Solare, which I'm very excited about. I hope the new ranked arena is a form of equalized gear as it brings in more competition as well as gives players incentive to study their class and class matchups rather than rely on their gear to win battles. Overall, I'm content regarding the changes. I know a lot of Awakening ninjas may not agree with me, as the one-wave serpent is still probably the major component on what was wanted. I do think that Awakening's new protected filler skills will give us new options on how to constantly add damage, and not have to rely on serpent for max damage output. You can use serpent as a finisher rather than relying on serpent to deal damage at all. Succession got some decent changes. Not all the ones I had hoped for, but I can work with the changes that we got. The biggest change to Succession that I was very happy about is Prime Heart Aiming. Normally, you'd use this skill as a finisher after you've accumulated all of your skill add-ons, but now you can use it as an opener, which animation cancels into Shadow Stop, allowing you to maximize your burst damage a lot sooner. Yay, while I appreciate the addition of dummies being able to be CC'd properly, the CC duration on them is way too long. Please adjust so it accurately represents the CC durations on actual players. The dummies also have a 100% chance to proc down smashes, while most classes don't have the same proc rate. So what do you guys think about the changes? Is there anything else you'd like to see? Leave a comment below, and as always, thank you for watching.